And I love President Trump. I'm not saying that President Trump is bought and paid for, but it sounds like people are scared of crossing the king of the world, Elon Musk, the monarch.
After Donald Trump threw his racist MAGA base under the bus in order to side with shadow president Elon Musk in the ongoing tiff between Musk and MAGA, several key MAGA influencers are furious. And one of them, one of the highest profile, one of the most cultishly devoted, a close friend and ally of Donald Trump, is now publicly implying that Trump fears Musk, further fueling the perception that it is Musk, not Trump, who is the true power on the right. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have several clips to talk about in this video. This is delicious. The MAGA civil war persists, and as I've explained in previous videos, that's good for the country. A unified MAGA movement, a unified Republican Party is very dangerous, particularly since they'll have the White House, they'll have the House of Representatives, they'll have the Senate, and they will have a supermajority on the Supreme Court and the backing of some of the world's richest people, including the world's richest man, Elon Musk. So perhaps the biggest check that we will see on their sinister ambitions will be from the infighting between one another and amongst one another. So fingers crossed that it persists. This is actually pretty surprising, though. Laura Loomer is a conspiracy theorist, a racist, an insane person by all accounts. Like, she constantly feuds with former BFF Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's been picking a fight with Elon Musk. And now, given that Trump effectively threw her under the bus to back Musk, she is implying that Trump is afraid of Musk. So we're going to play this clip here. It's a conversation between Laura Loomer and former Fox News host and former Newsmax host Eric Bolling, also a Trump supporter. And brace yourselves, it's pretty stunning, and I imagine it's going to really piss Trump off.
Are you surprised we haven't heard from any of these folks in Trump world right now? You know, Steve, these people are on Fox a lot. Stephen's a good friend of mine. Stephen Miller used to come on my show once every week or two or so. But I'm very close, and I text them, and ominously, I haven't heard back. So I'm not sure where they are. Is it possible they've been told to stand down?
Well, I think that this is the problem. This is the problem when you allow for a billionaire to make a $200 million donation. And so maybe we really do need to have campaign finance regulations in this country. I mean, essentially what is happening.
So we've got other clips of hers to play, but I just want to say, really good point by Laura. Is, you know, that meme about how the worst person you know makes a really good point? That's a really good one right here.
To make a $200 million donation. And so maybe we really do need to have campaign finance regulations.
Yes, of course we do. The right and the left should enthusiastically support campaign finance reform and try to reduce the impact of money in politics. It's a no-brainer if you really care about reducing corruption. Now, the problem is, and again, we'll get to this, but Laura Loomer, Eric Bolling, Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump, all these MAGA influencers, all these MAGA key figures were eager, enthusiastic, excited at the prospect of the world's richest man backing them, as long as they could use him for their nefarious purposes. Now they have a surprise Pikachu face going on. But again, we'll get to that. Let's get to the part where she kind of throws Donald Trump under the bus and implies that he's a coward.
In this country. I mean, essentially what is happening, and I love President Trump. I'm not saying that President Trump is bought and paid for, but it sounds like people are scared of crossing the king of the world, Elon Musk, the monarch, okay? Nobody wants to cross this guy, the richest man in the world who controls access to social media, the digital town square, and is now basically has everybody in a codependent, abusive relationship like they're a bunch of junkies, because he's been able to monetize the platform so that all the conservatives using his platform are essentially addicted. They're a bunch of addicts now, addicted.
So much to unpack there. Again, she's like, well, you know, I love Donald Trump, and I'm not saying that he's bought and paid for, but it seems like everyone, which must include Trump, is afraid to piss off the king. And she identifies who the king is, not Trump, not the leader of the Republican Party, not the de jure on paper president-elect, but Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the king. She is implying that Donald Trump fears Elon Musk and that Elon Musk has more power than Donald Trump on the right. That's going to hit Trump where it hurts, especially coming from a MAGA lunatic, a MAGA cultist, as high profile and devoutly loyal to Trump as Laura Loomer. Trump elevated Laura Loomer. Trump legitimized Laura Loomer. Trump repeatedly shouted her out at speeches, at rallies. She frequently attended, dinners at Mar-a-Lago. He sat beside her. He was photographed with her. They had conversations. He defended her. He was very slow to distance himself from her during this election cycle when she said all kinds of unhinged racist things about Vice President Kamala Harris. And even other Republicans were begging him, please, for the love of God, step away from her, get away from her. Don't put her on your plane. Don't hang out with her. And he dug his heels in. He was so slow to part ways with her because he feeds off the cultishness that she exudes. He legitimized her. And now she's saying, you're too afraid to cross Elon Musk. And so are the people, the MAGA loyalists like Stephen Miller and others as well, that are supposed to be in your cabinet. You all are intimidated by Elon Musk. The other thing I'll say before we play this other clip is, she's now the little lights going off, the little, check engine lights going off, like, man, maybe it was a bad idea for Elon Musk to buy Twitter, one of the biggest social media sites in the world, privatize it, and then exert single-handed control over it, unilateral control. Remember, conservatives like Laura Loomer, like Steve Bannon, like Donald Trump, like Stephen Miller and others, they just whined endlessly about the previous incarnation of Twitter. Oh, it's a DNC propaganda piece. Oh my God, it's so biased against conservatives. And they were eager, they were excited for Elon Musk to come in and do to liberals and progressives and Democrats what they believed was done to conservatives under the previous regime, the previous administration of Twitter. Except there's more evidence that what Elon Musk is doing is much more nefarious. Because there are studies, scholarly studies, that show that after Elon Musk openly endorsed Donald Trump in July, that engagement for right-wing accounts skyrocketed inorganically, inexplicably. And engagement for left-wing, Democratic-leaning accounts plummeted, even though if you poll people, according to polls, CNN talked about this, an equal number of self-identified Republicans and Democrats use Twitter as a news source. But the engagement is wildly disparate. Occam's razor would suggest that perhaps Elon Musk, who claims to be a free speech absolutist, but certainly has not lived up to the hype, juiced the algorithm purposefully to maximize the right-wing advantage and minimize the left-wing advantage. Now, Laura Loomer's like, damn, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe we should get money out of politics. Maybe, a right-wing activist shouldn't have single unilateral control over the digital town square. Again, they were happy, they were eager for that initially. But now that they're starting to see that Elon Musk has accumulated power as a consequence of this, as an unelected billionaire with no accountability, now it's starting to click that, it's probably not a good idea. Absolutely stupid of these people to not predict that this was a possible outcome. But here's another clip from Laura Loomer.
We need to have these conversations, and it's unfortunate that things have escalated the way that they have escalated, but we'll see. Hopefully I'm reinstated, and hopefully I'm remonetized.
Yeah. I think escalation's good. We get down to it. Remember, they're the ones backpedaling, and like I said, when an enemy's in retreat, fix bayonets and pursue. Laura, where do we go to get you on?
When I say it's unfortunate that things have escalated, it's unfortunate that the MAGA base has had to sustain abuse from the richest man in the world, being called retards and saying, F you in the face. Great. Okay, so what? I just think that I think it's time.
Why? But no, hey, hold it. We're tough. We're battle hardened over a decade of fighting. People are very, very. Hey, that's nothing. It's somebody who.
So. Again, fascinating what's going on here. So Steve Bannon is trying to spin this as Elon Musk is in retreat. Elon Musk threatened to go to war. I'm going to wage war like nothing you've ever seen. And now he's saying he's in retreat. Well, he's in retreat in as much as your cult leader, Donald Trump, was intimidated into publicly siding with Musk. So why does he need to declare war on you, at least at this moment? Your leader has bent the knee to him, number one. Number two, again, Laura Loomer whining about this. Oh my God, the abuse that MAGA has suffered at the hands of a powerful rich guy. She cheerled. She encouraged abuse from another powerful rich guy against liberals and progressives, that guy being Trump, right? Trump has insulted, Marjorie Taylor Greene has insulted, Laura Loomer has insulted Steve Bannon. have mocked Democrats, liberals, progressives, the media, women, minority groups, marginalized groups. They are happy, eager to heap abuse onto people they don't like, and they use rich, powerful people to do it. But when the shoe is on the other foot and Elon Musk is bullying them, they can't handle it. The hypocrisy, the snowflakery is staggering. Staggering. And it shouldn't be lost on you. This is another reason why, generally speaking, you should look at the MAGA movement, not every individual, but the movement collectively, what it stands for, with contempt. Because there is no principle here. There is no consistency here. They want the right to abuse with impunity, but can't handle a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of it in return. Now, as I've said before, this is a civil war where both sides suck. Elon Musk is terrible and dangerous and stupid in his own right, and so is Laura Loomer. And no matter who emerges victorious, it's bad for the country, which is why we need to hope that they continue to fight and fight and fight and trade victories back and forth and defeats back and forth. I will also point out before we play this next clip, is that Steve Bannon, not a stupid guy. Steve Bannon's really smart. And Steve Bannon, he's trying to put on a brave face, right? So Laura Loomer is whining and clutching her pearls, evincing, displaying this fragility. And Steve Bannon knows this. Steve Bannon's like, shut up, Laura, for the love of God, don't let people know how much of a snowflake you and others are. You gotta pretend like it's nothing. Like, yeah, who cares what, the richest person in the world, who may arguably be the most powerful person in the world, given that the president-elect and his entire party have effectively bent the knee to him. Who cares what that guy has to say? We're tough. And that's true. For a troll, which Elon Musk is, you don't want to let him know that he's gotten to you. So Laura Loomer is kind of, I don't know if she realizes it, but she's probably gratifying Elon Musk by saying these things because it gives validation to Musk getting under her skin. Of course, they also got under Musk's skin because he publicly flipped out and went on several rants, including that war declaration. So again, it's really interesting stuff. So Steve Bannon's like signaling, please don't show your hand, don't show your fragility, don't show your belly to the opposition. We've got one more clip from Laura Loomer because it's, that meme, the most horrible person in the world makes some really interesting points. She does that here for about 50 seconds.
And what we need to have a conversation about is what is it going to mean for the future of our country, our national security, and the incoming Trump administration if we have a bunch of technocrats who are also essentially welfare queens because their companies are receiving government subsidies and they want to take over our defense industry. If you have a bunch of tech bros with billions of dollars and direct unfettered access to the vice president and the president of the United States, and then they are also, very cordial with our adversaries, as in China and Iran. We see that Elon Musk is having these meetings off the books with Iranian officials, with Chinese officials. What does that mean for us and the future of our constitutional republic?
Okay, hang on. Yeah, okay, hang on.
So, again, fascinating. I mean, everything she said was effectively true. Elon Musk is not a self-made man. Vivek Ramaswamy, not a self-made man. Elon Musk, I believe, got within the past 16 to 20 years, $20 billion in government subsidies. His net worth doubled since Trump won the election. Nobody is an island unto himself. Nobody is a self-made person. What's interesting is that only now is she concerned about the concentration of wealth and power by these unelected multimillionaires and billionaires. Again, happy, eager, excited to use them to get elected, right? She didn't complain when Elon Musk, unlike Jack Dorsey, the previous, owner of Twitter, Elon Musk came out and publicly endorsed a candidate for office, Donald Trump. Then Elon Musk contributed at least $270 million to get Trump elected. And again, studies have shown that after Musk endorsed Trump for the presidency, engagement skyrocketed with right-wing and Republican accounts and dipped tremendously by left-wing Democratic accounts in ways that the scholars who study tech and social media suggest is not organic. Kind of suspicious that right after Musk does this, you see enhancement in the algorithm, enhancement in engagement for right-wing Republican accounts as opposed to left-wing Democratic accounts. Imagine how Laura Loomer and others would have reacted if Jack Dorsey did that during the 2020 election, openly endorsed President Biden, and then choked the algorithm to benefit Democrats over Republicans, and then donated hundreds of millions of dollars to get Biden elected. But again, the hypocrisy notwithstanding, the other problem is they didn't think like, oh my God, perhaps that power, perhaps that concentration of wealth, power, and influence, unchecked, unaccountable, which it is unchecked and unaccountable. Musk isn't elected. Musk doesn't have term limits. Musk is unaccountable to no one. Twitter's private. You don't like Twitter? How can you possibly hurt Musk to hold him accountable? Now they're starting to feel the pinch and starting to feel the danger, and presumably Donald Trump is as well, which is why he has so consistently sided with Musk in these high-profile blowups, and which is presumably why Laura Loomer, Steve Bannon, Eric Bolling, and others now believe that Musk has successfully intimidated Trump. The corruption and conflicts of interest in this relationship, primarily defined between Musk and Trump, is unprecedented. Anybody who truly values free speech and, hates corruption, no matter where you are on the right or the left, should be condemning this. If you're a fan of Elon Musk, if you think that Musk is a genius, a tech genius, and you want to see us go to Mars and what he's done with rocketry and Tesla, self-driving car, like you can and should feel that way, if that's how you feel, and also say he needs to get the hell out of politics or reduce his influence in politics. And yet only now is it starting to occur to MAGA that this is a real threat to them. So it's just, this whole dynamic is so funny, and God willing, it will continue because, again, it's the only real check that MAGA has. Democrats are going to be in the minority. And in theory, it's going to be more of a check in the House of Representatives because that margin is so thin. The filibuster exists in the Senate, and Republicans don't have the votes to overcome it, but they can break it. They can use a simple majority to abolish the filibuster, and I wouldn't write that off. So really, one of the biggest checks, if not the biggest check, will be from MAGA's incompetence and infighting checking themselves. So let's hope that it continues. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.